الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope everyone's doing good. So we have Jannat, Ayan, Rida, Akbar, all in. I think Alina and Umar are not going to be today. So we're going to continue on Surah Baqarah, which we've been reading for the last few days. And then the last class, we finished at ayat number 60. And in these ayats which we've been reading, Allah Ta'ala is talking about Bani Israel, how Bani Israel, how Allah Ta'ala gave so many bounties to Bani Israel. Bani Israel, Allah Ta'ala gave him the fazilat, meaning the priority from other people. And a lot of messengers, many Rasuls, Nabis were sent to that nation. But these people were corrupt, and Allah Ta'ala is mentioning about some of their stories of Bani Israel, and the particular story which we're reading about them right now is with Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. So we're going to continue from ayat number 61. It's a little empty ayat. So who's going to read this ayat? Rida, you go ahead, read this ayat. Ayat 61.
Ayat 61, okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ قلتم يا موسى لن نصبر على طعام واحد فادع لنا ربك يخرج لنا مما تنبت الأرض من بقلها قصائها وفومها وعدسها وبصلها قال أتستبدلون الذي هو أدنى بالذي هو خير اهبطوا مصرا فإن لكم ما سألتم وضربت عليهم الذلة والمسكنة وباءوا بغضب من الله ذلك بأنهم كانوا يكفرون بآيات الله ويقتلون النبيين بغير الحق ذلك بما عصوا وكانوا يعتدون. And the definition is, and when you said, O Musa, we can never endure one kind of food. So pray to your Lord to bring forth for us out of what the earth grows, its herbs, its cucumbers, its garlic, its lentils, and its onions. He said, would you extend that which is better for that which is, and if we go down to any city and indeed you will have what you have asked for, and 2,000,000 and misery we struck upon them, and they drew on themselves the wrath of Allah. That was because they used to disbelieve in the signs of Allah and kill the prophets without any right. That was because they disobeyed and they were transgressed.
Okay, good. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ قلتم يا موسى لن نصبر على طعام واحد فادع لنا ربك يخرج لنا مما تنبت تنبت الأرض من بقلها وقثائها وفومها وعدسها وبصلها قال أتستبدلون الذي هو أدنى بالذي هو خير اهبطوا مصرا فإن لكم ما سألتم وضربت عليهم وضربت عليهم الذلة والمسكنة وباءوا بغضب من الله ذلك بأنهم كانوا يكفرون بآيات الله ويقتلون النبيين بغير الحق ذلك بما عصوا وكانوا يعتدون. So Allah Ta'ala says in this ayat, and when you said, O Musa, never will we endure on food of one kind, so pray for us to your Lord to bring forth for us out of what grows in the earth of its herbs, its cucumbers, its garlic and lentils and its onions. So remember in the previous few ayats, a few ayats before as well, we read that these people, Bani Israel, they were getting free food from Allah Ta'ala, man and salwa. And they got tired after a few days. They said, Musa alayhi salam, oh Musa, we cannot live on this food every day. We need to eat something else. So this ayat is giving definition of that, what was the request and of what else they were asking. So Allah Ta'ala is saying that remember when Musa made a dua, because these people pushed Musa alayhi salam that they cannot continue to eat these things, and they said, we want to ask to Allah Ta'ala that we want to eat something which grows from the earth. And what grows from the earth? The herbs, the cucumbers, right? The cucumbers which we eat, the garlic, the lentils, different kind of lentils, and onions. So they said we want to eat all these things, the vegetables and lentils which grow from the earth, instead of what we're getting man and salwa every day from Allah Ta'ala. So Musa said, in response to that, Musa said, Kala, that would you exchange? You want to exchange, you want to exchange man and salwa, which you're getting for free every day, to things which are inferior to eat, because and then why is it inferior? Because it's inferior because for all these things which you're asking, you would have to work for it. You have to work on the land to grow these crops. You have to work to cook it. You have to work a lot for that. So why are you asking inferior? But they push for it, and then Musa alayhi salam made a dua to Allah Ta'ala. So he said, Musa is saying that you want to exchange to inferior and you want to eat something which is less better than what we're getting. If that is the case, so when Musa alayhi salam made a dua, Allah Ta'ala responded to the dua, and Allah Ta'ala said, okay, they need to go to this certain city and conquer that city and get the lands, crops and all that, and they can eat. So continue here. So Musa says, go down to a city. So indeed for you is what you have asked for. And so you go down this city and you will get whatever you're asking for, meaning you will be the owner of the lands, and the land is fertile there, and you can grow all these things, and you can have freedom there, so you can grow all these things and eat whatever you want to eat. So that was the response from Allah Ta'ala. So then what happened? Go down to the cities, and the word struck on them the humiliation and the misery, and they drew on themselves wrath of Allah. That was because they used to disbelieve in the signs of Allah Ta'ala and kill the prophets without any reason, that because they disobey and they were transgressing. So what does this mean? The last ayat of the last part of this ayat. So when they were told that they can go to this city, and this city, they will be able to conquer it, and even though that city has an army, because there was a big city, bigger city. So this Musa alayhi salam said there's a big city. It has all those crops, everything which we want to eat, all kind of fruit, vegetables, lentils. So once we conquer the city, and remember when you go to the city, when you conquer the city, the previous ayat we read, be very humble. So be very humble, and when you conquer, do a sajda, meaning do ibadat to Allah Ta'ala, and don't and ask for astaghfirullah. When you enter, say astaghfirullah, meaning keep on asking Allah's forgiveness. And if you do that, Allah will forgive, Allah will give you more. So that was the last part which we read. So Musa alayhi salam said, you can go to the city, conquer the city, and when you conquer, be very humble and be nice to people and say astaghfirullah. But when they heard that Musa alayhi salam is asking for a fight with the city, so these people were corrupt, right? They want everything, but they didn't have the courage, because they were not Muslim, they didn't have a good faith. When you don't have good solid iman, good faith, you always are lacking courage. You lack courage because what you fell in love with whatever you have in this world. So you tend to love world more than you tend to love Allah and hereafter. So you are always scared of dying. You're scared of die because you know that whenever you're gonna die, you're gonna leave everything behind. You're gonna leave everything, whatever you have earned. So the wealth you have earned, your family, your parents, your children, everything which you love is gonna be left behind because you're gonna die. So when they heard that Musa is saying that you have to go conquer the city, even though Allah Ta'ala is saying that my help is with you, you can conquer the city and you enter the city humbly. So and you can own and you can do all this, you can eat all these foods that you want. They said, oh Musa, we don't want to go and be in a battle. We don't want to fight with these people. We heard this army is strong. We don't want to fight with it. You go and your Allah goes. So even though they have seen the signs of Allah Ta'ala, so when Musa said there is this city to conquer, what he did, he sent three people from these tribes to go and find out how strong the army is. And he said, when you come back, do not tell to these people, just tell me what did you see there. So when they came back, they told Musa, yeah, Musa, that city is strong. It has everything which we need, but the army is very strong as well. Meaning when we enter, we'll be ending up in a war with them, and we have to win the battle to conquer the city. So two of the guys were very loyal to Musa. They didn't tell anyone, but one of the person who came back, he was not very loyal, and he told the people as well in the city. He told Bani Israel as well that that city has a very strong army, and the chances are that we will have a good battle, and many of us will get killed. Even though Allah Ta'ala is saying that Allah Ta'ala's help is going to be with us, we will win the battle, but the chances are many will get hurt, many will get killed as well during this battle. So they got scared and they said, oh Musa, we found out that the army is very strong. We know that even though Allah Ta'ala is saying that Allah Ta'ala's help is going to be with us, and they have already seen the help of Allah Ta'ala. When they flew from Pharaoh, no one got killed, no one got injured. All the Pharaoh army got killed, and they escaped from him. They saw how Allah Ta'ala helped them by stopping the river from both sides. So Allah Ta'ala made a path in the river. They saw all these miracles from their own eyes, but still they're getting scared because their faith, their iman is not very strong. They're not good Muslims. They said, Musa, we don't want to go. You go and take your Rabb with you. Even though the Rabb is with them, the Allah, they're from the same Allah too. They said, you go with the help of your Allah and you go conquer the city yourself, and when you conquer the city, it will come. So they wanted to, they asked for something. Allah Ta'ala responded. Allah Ta'ala promised that they can conquer the city, they can get everything, but they still denied to go because they got scared. So this ayat continues from there. It says, and what struck on them the humiliation and the misery, and they drew on themselves wrath of Allah. So when they said, we don't want to go, you go and you take your Allah, we'll come back. So then Allah Ta'ala got upset on them. Allah Ta'ala sent an azab on them. So we don't know. So Allah Ta'ala sent an azab on them. So the punishment for them was they were in this big field eating man and salwa. The punishment for them was every day they would go, the whole nation would go, like a whole tribe will go to find a place where they can start living, somewhere which is greenery and all that. So they go in the morning and they end up at night same place. So they were in this field for 40 years. So there was punishment for them. They stayed in that field for 40 years, trying to go every day, look for a place better than the place they have, but they were getting failed every day because there was punishment from them from Allah. So they go going in circle. In the morning they will have a plan. They're gonna go to certain direction and try to, and then from there to go to certain direction to find a new city. But they were unable to find any place to settle for 40 days. So there was a punishment among other punishments which Allah gave them. So for 40 years they lived in the open land. They lived in the open land, and where they had nothing, they have sky on top of them, and Allah gave them cloud to protect them, and they're living on the earth. So 40 years they lived like that, and then among them Allah saying that they saw the words of Allah Ta'ala. Why they did that? Because they disbelieved in the signs of Allah Ta'ala, and they killed many prophets without haqq. So many prophets in Bani Israel, these people killed them because they didn't want to listen to him. They listened to Musa, but they didn't listen the whole thing of Musa. They denied to Musa on many things which Musa wanted them to do. And the other prophets, many other prophets, they killed while these prophets were there to help them. And why this punishment came to them? Because they were disobeyed. They disobeyed Allah Ta'ala and they were transgressing, meaning they were on the wrong path. Rida, you understood? Any question you have? Rida, you understood?
Yes, I understood.
Okay. Anyone have any question on this ayat?
No.
Okay, next ayat. Ayan, read next ayat, beta.
Okay, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين آمنوا والذين هادوا والنصارى والصابئين من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر وعمل صالحا
Ayan, I cannot hear you. Can you be a little loud? It's difficult to hear you.
فلهم أجرهم إن أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. And the definition is indeed those who believed and those who became Jews and the Christians and Sabins, is that religion?
Yeah.
Okay, who believed in Allah and the last day and the righteous deeds will have their rewards with their Lord. They will have no fear nor they will grieve.
Okay. إن الذين آمنوا. Yeah. Okay. إن الذين آمنوا والذين هادوا والنصارى والسائبين من آمن بالله وباليوم الآخر وعمل صالحا فلهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. So Allah says, indeed those who believed and those who became Jews and Christians and the Sabians who believed in Allah and the day and the last day and did righteous deeds, so for them is the reward with their Lord and no fear on them and not they will be grieved. So that says the people who have become Mu'min, who have become people who have become Muslim, right? So people who have become Muslim after they were Jews or they were Christians or Sabians. So meaning that they became Muslim when they found out that Islam is a true religion, right? And all human history has been happening. So a prophet comes when people are disobeying Allah Ta'ala, the prophet comes and tells them, you need to follow Allah Ta'ala. And there's no more prophet after Prophet Muhammad. That's the law of Allah. But the because and the biggest, there's no more prophet because Allah Ta'ala has given this book, Quran. This Quran, Allah Ta'ala is saying that Allah Ta'ala is going to protect it till the day of Qiyamah. So anyone who wants guidance, they can read this book, try to understand this book, learn this book, and get the guidance. And get the guidance from Muslims, and they can become Muslims. But before Quran, Prophet used to come and tell these people what is wrong, what is right. And Allah saying, whoever becomes Mu'min, whoever becomes Muslim, even if he was before Jews, Christian, or Sabian. Sabian are people who have no religion. So even today, there's a big group of people. They call themselves, they would have no religion. They don't believe any religion. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in nothing. They believe in science and different stuff. So the people, anyone who is Jew, Christian, or they have no religion, if he become Muslim, after and he leaves his religion and he believes in Allah Ta'ala and believes in the last day of Qiyamah and becomes a good Muslim, Allah Ta'ala saying, for them there's big reward. There's big reward for returning to Allah Ta'ala. There's big reward for them because they recognize their existence. They recognize why they're in this world and they become good Muslim. Allah Ta'ala saying for them there's big reward from Allah Ta'ala and they will have no fear and they will have no grief. They will have no fear on day of Qiyamah. They will have no fear that they're gonna end up in Jahannam, and they will have no grief. They will have no grief because they will inshallah get Jannah. The grief is only in Jahannam. If you're thrown in Jahannam, you will end up in grief. The grief will be that why in the world that when you are living, when you are alive in the world, why you did not follow the right path. So these people will be successful inshallah. Next ayat. Who's left? Sarah, are you there too or no?
No.
Okay, Rida, go ahead, read the next ayat.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ أخذنا ميثاقكم ورفعنا فوقكم الطور خذوا ما آتيناكم بقوة واذكروا ما فيه لعلكم. And the definition is, and when we took your covenant and we raised above you the mount, saying, hold firmly that which we have given you, and remember what it is in it, perhaps you would become righteous.
وَإِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَكُمْ وَرَفَعْنَا فَوْقَكُمُ الطُّورَ خُذُوا مَا آتَيْنَاكُمْ بِقُوَّةٍ واذكروا ما فيه لعلكم تتقون. Allah saying, and when we took your covenant and we raised over you the mount, hold what we have given you with strength and remember what is in it, perhaps you would become righteous. So we have read this before when they went to Kohetur and they said, we want to listen from Allah Ta'ala. Then when Allah told them, this is the book of the Torah is my book and you need to follow these covenants. They said, yeah, we hear, but we want to see as well. And no one can see, since no one can see Allah Ta'ala got angry on them and Allah Ta'ala killed all of them with a lightning. Then Musa alayhi salam did a dua, oh Allah Ta'ala, give them life again because these people are ignorant and don't punish the whole nation because of these ignorant people. So Allah Ta'ala gave them life again. They became alive again and they starting making excuses to not to accept this book. And then what Allah Ta'ala said is what been referred here. That Allah Ta'ala raised that mountain, the mountain of Tur, and put on their head. So that mountain was right on their head and it was just, they felt like it's going to fall on it because it was in the air. So Allah is saying that when we gave you a covenant and we raised a mountain on top of your head and we asked you, we told you, take whatever we're giving you with strength, meaning believe in this book, get this book, try to understand this book, follow this book with the strength, and remember, if you do that, you will become righteous. So Allah is saying that I forcefully asked you to follow this book. Do you remember that? So this is something which we have read before. This ayat is coming again. So with this, we're going to end inshallah today's class. Anyone have any question on what we read today?
No.
Okay, so we're going to make a dua. Allah Ta'ala help us understand this Quran, help us read more, help us follow it, help us make people among the Quran, and help us become good Muslim inshallah. So we're going to continue from here in the next class, and then Allah Hafiz everyone.